What if I told you there are tricks that you could do to your videos today that would instantly make them 10 times better? Would you do it? Well, I know for me that the answer would be an instant yes, like a, really fast yes, if you know what I'm saying. And in this video, I want to share with you 3 strategies many channels ignore that will boost your video quality in no time. Alright, so let's start with a very important subject, the art of storytelling. And we're going to dive into why it's so important in order for you to create better videos with greater retention. Always important in YouTube videos, and obviously also how you can start utilizing this yourself to become a better storyteller today. You see, the reason storytelling is so crucial in creating better films is because it engages the audience, communicates a message, and makes your videos more memorable. It will also allow you to create a connection with your viewers by tapping into their emotions, interests, and experiences. I mean, if you think about it, it's been around for what, thousands of years, maybe thousands and thousands of years? People used to tell stories to each other before they wrote them down, and back then this was the most important ways for us humans to share history, belief, and culture with others down to the next generation. And if you think about it, it's really wired in us to love a good story. And I think this is important for you to remember that as a human, we love to feel emotion simply because it's a natural part of the human experience. So you're probably thinking to yourself right now, well, Mr. Icelandic guy, why exactly is this important for us to create better YouTube videos? Well, firstly, it will engage your audience and capture their attention from the beginning of the video. And as we talked about earlier, that is especially important here in YouTube, It will also provide a clear and a memorable message or an idea that people, can resonate with. Note that one down too. And on top of that, it will aid in creating an emotional connection between you and the viewer of the content. And all that will ultimately help you on your quest on retaining the viewer's attention throughout the entire video. And that is the ultimate quest of the YouTuber. So now that you know all that, then how can you become a better teller of stories today? Well, unfortunately, nothing that's really worth having in life comes super easy, although everybody wants a quick fix pill. Then the truth is that it takes time. Practice. You need to earn your stripes, my friend. However, luckily, there are a few things that you can do today that will help speed up that process. Watch and read a lot of stories. Personally, I love reading. A little nerdy hobby of mine is reading fantasy and sci-fi. But you're not, talking about anyone about that, right? That's just between me and you now, okay? Another thing you can do is to watch films. And I know now you can actually say to yourself when you're being lazy on Netflix watching movies with potato chips all over yourself that you're actually being productive because you're studying. You can also study other storytellers to understand the different styles and techniques, take notes at what works and what doesn't, and then if you want to take that beginning part to the next level, then really focus on creating a strong opening that draws your audience in and makes them want to know more. You understand that you want to make them want to watch because they want to know what's happening next. What is happening next in this video? I don't know, but you're about to find out. Alright, so the second trick that you should not neglect is the power of sound design. And here I want to show you how you can create great soundscape and also talk about why it's so important. And I even want to give you guys a few really sneaky tricks that you can do to make your sound design a lot more impactful and professional. So the biggest reason sound effects are important in YouTube videos is because they enhance the viewer's experience, add to the story impact, and improve the overall quality of the video. Now, as you can see, this is something I do all the time because it's just such a simple way to make my videos a zillion times better by breathing life into them. And even in simple talking to head videos like this one here, there's still a really powerful tool. Like all of the things that I'm throwing up here on the screen, I add a little sound effect because it makes the video so much more lively. Without them, these little things that come up, they're pretty flat, And this is where I see many content creators neglect this, especially those who are newer to the craft. And it's probably because it's a bit tedious and time consuming doing it. And I'll show you now how I've, come up with these few systems in order to do this pretty fast, or at least faster, and also the few sneaky little tricks. Alright, so firstly we need some sound effects. I use artlist.io, and if you go up here to sound effects, you click that, and basically what I do here, that if I know exactly what sound effect that I'm looking for, then I basically just type here. I have a little car scene, so I might buy car driving car driving by or something like that. But it often happens that I don't 100% know exactly what sound effect that I'm looking for, and then I go to the now on the left side you see this bar here, and here you can click ambience or realistic, click that, and further help me in finding the exact sound effect. Alright, so now we are in Premiere Pro, and this is the clip we're working with. It's a highway and car passing us by, and without any sound effects it just sounds like this. Nothing is really happening. We need to hear the car when it goes past us, okay? Much better. I know it can be hard sometimes to know exactly what sound effects that you're looking for. A tip that my friend Peter Lindgren gave me once was that he usually, when he has like a big timeline open and he goes into the sound design, then he just takes a look at the sound effects and the clips and think to himself, what might be a good sound here? Whether it's an ambient sound to get that mood going, or is it somebody moving within the frame? Is it a person running and you get to step there? And he just takes notes of it, and then you layer in a lot of sound effects, and the deeper you go, the more immersive it is. And here is where these sneaky tricks come into play. But the reason I get all my music and sound effects from Artlist is not only that they're like royalty-free music, so I can monetize my video and not get a copyright strike, which is really nice, but also it's just so high quality. Whatever they do, whatever they put out, whether it is stock footage or music or sound effects, their bar is really high, and I like that a whole lot. Plus, the music and sound effect like that is just so big, and they're constantly adding new, and it's really well categorized, and it's easy to find whatever type of music that you're looking for. Anywho, as promised, the first little sneaky sound tip that I want to talk about is that you can actually choose from which ear the sound is coming from, whether it's the left or right. And you can also even use keyframes to make it go from one ear to the other, depending on what's happening. So for instance, you can hear this machine gun here, alright? Wouldn't it be cool to create this soundscape that would just make the machine gun come from maybe the left ear? So we just click it, you go to effects control, and in the balance slider we can toggle it off. You can just go to the right. So if you take it in the right direction, it goes to the right, and in the left, this goes to the left ear. So all the way to the right, and you can hear now, it only comes here. I often think it's more believable, not always, but very often, to have maybe around 75 or 80. So it's dominant, not the opacity, sorry. So it's dominantly in the right ear, but you can still hear it a little bit here. I think that's more how it is in reality, And then even when he is running, there was this here. What we could do here, we start to hear him a lot here. So we can now create a keyframe. So you toggle the animation here, and he is a lot on the right side. So we can actually start with a keyframe, maybe around 60, something like this. So now it's like, but as he's moving, we want the sound to move with him, all right? So now he's moving across the frame, and then we can to the left side. So we can go a lot here, and it goes like this, all right? So we go. You hear that? You hear how the sound follows him? This is so beautiful. Another thing you can also do is all the sound effects, and especially if you're working with whooshes or rises or like some tension builders or something like that you can actually slow them down or speed them up to change the sound of it. And another thing you can also do to change the sound is that if you go to effects control and you write pitch shifter and you drag it on here, and then you go to click the sound effect, effects control here, and then you can see the pitch shifter here, edit, and now you can play with the semitones. So if you drag it down, it becomes a lot deeper. So now it sounds like this. You hear? So you can play around with the noise and like create your own different sound effect, or like further customize it to make it fit your needs exactly. And lastly, I just want to encourage you to play around with sound effects like risers or swells, or like these drone undertones, or anything that is like tension building and is able to build that mood that is not exactly music. Like on Artlist, there is a huge library of all of that, and I promise you're gonna have a really fun time with those. And before we move on to the next tip, I just want to say big thanks for Artlist for the sponsor of this video. It really helps me to create more and better videos for you guys. And in the description, again, you find a link that gives you 2 months extra of a year subscription. So yeah, on to the next tip. Alright, so the next little trick is all about the visuals and how you can switch up your content in order to, create more engaging videos that are higher attention and just like more fun to watch in general. Now, I'm going to break this down into 2 parts. We start with the A-roll. And when it comes to A-roll, a really simple trick that you can honestly do today is to use at least 2 camera angles. For instance, by just adding one camera there, I've made my videos so much more fun to watch. Now I also get that don't all of you have 2 cameras, but you don't have to have 2 awesome cameras. This is an old camera that I have here. It's not a big one like this one, but you could also just use your phone. And if you don't have 2 phones, well, then the next part will be something for you and everybody else, because this I really like. And it's about changing your environment, whether it's indoors or outdoors. As you've been seeing me do this entire video, I'm constantly changing angles, whether it is from like a vlogging angle here to a different located sitting videos like this one here, or all of a sudden to an outdoor vlog park like we're in now, you know. Then it doesn't really matter as long as you're changing up the angles in the environment a little bit. And I even think like the more fun angles you can come up with, the better. And this works because it just makes your videos again a little bit more like it comes more to life, and it isn't as, you know, boring and stale to watch. And somebody who's really good at this is Ed from Film Booth. He does this all the time in a really fun and creative way. And you don't have to complicate it, you know. You can even just like put the tripod down, film a few sentences, and then move the tripod a little bit and move yourself and film a few more sentences there. You understand what I'm saying? But you can also make it super complicated if you want to. And when it comes to the B-roll, you should really incorporate that a whole lot. As you've seen throughout this entire videos, I'm constantly throwing up B-rolls referencing to what I'm speaking. Even text are super engaging, because when you throw up text, you cannot not have to not read it, which like increases their attention too. Now, the way I do my B-rolls is 2 ways. One is that once I've finished with the A-roll, I sit down and I watch my entire video with a pen and a paper. Yes, I am pretty old school still. I'm old with 2 kids. And I just take notes of everything that I think would make sense as a B-roll. Then I watch that list and I see what I, you know, should film. But more importantly, what I really try to do is to see where I can actually save myself a lot of time and not film this and go on to Artlist footage and find it there. Basically, that's like stock footage, and it's so much time saver, and really many times much better filmmakers than I'm, with much better gear that I can have have access to really high quality footage and just go and do that. For instance, if I need a clip of fire, instead of, you know, going and light a fire and film it, taking out my camera and all that thing, and then going and putting it in, color grading and all that, I can just write fire, find some epic fire content. That's a lot of fire, you know, and boom. Time saved and really nice. And now with Artlist Max, where they basically bundle together all of the servers under the same roof, you can get access to it really easily for a very fair price. Highly recommend that. But don't fall into the trap of just adding B-roll just for the sake of adding B-roll, because you think that will just automatically make your videos a lot better and keep the retention because something is going on all the time. No, don't do that. Just add it where it will further enhance your story in a visually and a pleasing way. You understand what I'm saying? Alright, so once you've applied all of those tips to your videos, you might also be in need of a new camera. And one of the more interesting ones I've tried this year is this one right here.